Hi, I'm Erika, the Senior SAT and ACT Curriculum Manager. If you've ever taken a multiple choice test, you're probably familiar with the strategy process of elimination, which is where you eliminate wrong answers on the way to the correct answer. And it's a really powerful strategy for the SAT and ACT, but it's a little bit more nuanced than most students think, especially when it comes to the reading section. In this video, I'm going to talk you through how not to do process of elimination on SAT and ACT reading and what to do instead to get more questions right faster. So most students think process of elimination means read the question, then read the answer choices, and then eliminate. And that's how it works for some types of questions, but not reading questions. In fact, if we do process of elimination like this on reading, we're actually more likely to miss questions and take way more time. Now, the reason for this lies in how reading questions are constructed. Now, I've spent a lot of time writing reading questions, and the majority of that time goes into writing the wrong answer choices. And that's because each of those wrong answers is there for a reason. It's there to trap a different kind of test taker into picking it. And these wrong answer traps are meant to be convincing. There's the wrong answer that's slightly too extreme, the answer that's slightly too broad, the answer that's slightly too narrow, the answer that's one word off from the correct answer, the answer that seems like a reasonable assumption but can't actually be proven by the passage, the answer that does show up in the passage but doesn't actually answer this question, and I could go on. So let's imagine that we've just read the question and now we're reading the answer choices. It really seems like if we look at 3 or 4 wrong answers and 1 correct answer, that correct answer should just jump off the page at us. But because those wrong answers are specifically designed to trick us into thinking they're correct, it doesn't. In fact, once we look at the wrong answer choices, we give it space in our brain, and we start to think about why it might be true. We start thinking things like, oh yeah, it makes sense that the author would think that, or oh yeah, I remember reading that somewhere in the passage. So reading the answer choices cold is a lot like wearing a blindfold when we walk out into a field full of holes. We're pretty likely to fall into one. In a lot of cases, we simply get stuck in the wrong answer choice hole without realizing it and miss the question. But even if we do realize we've fallen into a wrong answer trap, it takes time and effort to pull ourselves out. So what's the equivalent of taking the blindfold off before walking out into the field? The secret is making a prediction before we read the answer choices. Now, I want to get the most common concern out of the way. Won't this take way more time? No, this actually saves time. Now, true, we do invest a little bit of time into making that prediction. If it's a more general question, we can typically predict just based on our initial skim. If it's a more specific question, yeah, okay, we'll need to go hunting a little bit, but we can use that initial skim as well as keywords from the question to make that information easier and faster to find. But once we have that prediction, now we know what we're looking for in our answer choices. And now that correct answer is much more likely to jump out at us. And even if we look at a wrong answer on the way to the correct answer, we're much more likely to recognize it as being wrong. We can just ask ourselves, does this match my prediction? And if it doesn't, we can stop thinking about it and move on. I can't tell you the number of times that I've read literally the first word of an answer choice, gone, nope, this doesn't match my prediction, stopped reading it, and moved on to the next answer choice. Now, this is what high-quality reading process of elimination looks like. Just like taking off a blindfold is going to help us see the holes in a field so we can avoid falling into them, making a prediction is going to help us see the holes in our wrong answer choices before we fall into the trap of picking them. Now, of course, on occasion, we might run into some issues like struggling to predict or predicting wrong or making too vague of a prediction and ending up with a couple of answer choices that might work. But this doesn't happen nearly as often as most students think. And even an imperfect prediction is going to help us at least get closer to the correct answer, if not all the way there. I really recommend giving this strategy a shot. I found that for the majority of my students, predicting is extremely empowering because it allows them to succeed by trusting themselves rather than trusting the test. Let me know in the comments if you'd like more videos on how to use process of elimination on different sections of the test. And let me know if you want to know more about skimming a reading passage. This is another game-changing strategy. To stay updated on all of our upcoming videos, like this video and hit the subscribe button. And if you have any questions or have other suggestions for future videos, leave us a comment down below. Talk to you soon.